Today, we invite you to embark on a profound exploration of some of the most heavily polluted nations on the planet. Places where environmental degradation has reached crisis levels. This documentary sheds light on the dirtiest corners of the world, where pollution is not just a problem, but a daily reality. Picture women navigating their lives in solitude, forced to carry out tasks along waste-filled roadsides. From Delhi's suffocating air to the Nile's contaminated waters, these aren't mere statistics, but genuine stories that affect millions. As we journey through these regions, we unravel the human toll of environmental decay. How can we, as a unified global community, prevent this damage from becoming permanent? I encourage you to reflect on this question and share your thoughts below. Let's begin a meaningful dialogue about safeguarding the future of our planet before it's too late. India stands out on our list for its staggering pollution crisis, which has escalated into one of the most pressing environmental emergencies globally. This challenge is particularly acute in urban centers like Delhi, where air quality has become a dire issue. According to the World Health Organization, harmful particles in the air frequently soar to levels over 5 times the recommended safety threshold, endangering millions of lives. This toxic air isn't just a nuisance, it's a silent killer. Recent data from the 2024 Lancet Countdown reveals that air pollution contributes to over 1.67 million deaths annually in India, with respiratory and cardiovascular diseases being the primary culprits. However, the crisis isn't limited to the air. Water pollution also poses a monumental challenge. The Ganges River, a symbol of cultural and spiritual significance, is one of the most polluted rivers in the world. Choked with industrial waste, plastics, and untreated sewage, this once life-giving river now serves as a hazardous waterway. Alarming estimates suggest that only about 30% of the river's flow constitutes actual water. The rest is contaminated waste. Despite these environmental struggles, life goes on. In the streets of some of India's most polluted cities, you'll find women navigating immense challenges, striving to make a living or simply survive amidst the haze-filled air and undrinkable water. This pollution crisis isn't just an environmental dilemma, it's a full-blown public health emergency. The most vulnerable populations, including children and the elderly, bear the brunt of this catastrophe, making it a situation that demands immediate and sustained action. How much longer can this critical issue go unresolved? Is it possible to turn the tide for India's environment, or will this crisis continue to deepen? The answers lie in collective efforts, both local and global, to address this pressing challenge. Nepal, famous for its awe-inspiring natural beauty and the majestic Himalayas, faces a growing pollution crisis that is casting a shadow over its charm. Particularly in Kathmandu, the country's bustling capital, pollution levels have reached alarming heights. Despite the serene landscape surrounding it, Kathmandu now ranks among the most polluted urban centers worldwide. The deteriorating air quality, driven by vehicle emissions, industrial operations, and widespread biomass burning, has become a critical concern. In 2024, the city's air quality index regularly exceeded 300, falling into the hazardous category and earning it a place among the most polluted capitals globally. This dire situation is taking a significant toll on public health. According to the World Health Organization, over 30,000 people in Nepal lose their lives annually due to air pollution-related illnesses. This health crisis extends beyond individuals. It threatens the nation's economy, particularly its vital tourism industry. Travelers flock to Nepal seeking the pristine views of its snow-capped peaks, but many are now greeted by a persistent haze and polluted air. This growing issue risks tarnishing Nepal's reputation as a premier destination for nature enthusiasts and adventure seekers. The urgency to address Nepal's pollution problem cannot be overstated. Without immediate and sustainable solutions, the country faces potential environmental degradation, public health disasters, and a weakened tourism sector. How can Nepal balance its development needs while preserving its natural treasures? The answer lies in adopting innovative strategies, enforcing strict environmental regulations, and fostering global partnerships to restore the purity of its air and protect its breathtaking landscapes for generations to come. Tajikistan, nestled in the heart of Central Asia, is grappling with a mounting environmental crisis that is increasingly jeopardizing the well-being of its people. Over the past decade, air quality across the country has sharply declined, fueled by rising vehicle emissions and unchecked industrial activities. In 2024, reports revealed that air pollution has not only worsened living conditions, but also significantly impacted life expectancy. According to World Bank estimates, individuals in heavily polluted areas of Tajikistan may lose up to 2.5 years of their lives, a stark indicator of the crisis at hand. However, the issue goes beyond air pollution. Tajikistan is also battling widespread water contamination, with rivers and lakes suffering from industrial discharge and agricultural runoff. This situation is exacerbated by inadequate waste management systems, further degrading the environment and endangering public health. The once vital Echo River, for example, has become so polluted that nearby communities are now grappling with a surge in waterborne diseases. These challenges underscore a larger problem: the country's insufficient infrastructure and weak regulatory framework. Without decisive action, Tajikistan risks enduring long-term damage to its natural resources, public health, and overall development. The question remains: how can Tajikistan reverse this downward spiral? Innovative solutions, stricter environmental policies, and international collaboration are crucial to tackling the pollution crisis. By addressing these issues promptly, Tajikistan has the chance to safeguard its natural heritage, protect its people, and create a more sustainable future. Pakistan, a country with a rich cultural history, is facing some of the most severe environmental challenges in the world, particularly in urban hubs like Lahore, Faisalabad, and Karachi. These cities are ranked among the most polluted globally, with air quality regularly surpassing safe limits. As of 2024, particulate matter, PM 2.5, levels in these areas frequently exceed 200 micrograms per cubic meter, well beyond the World Health Organization's recommended threshold of 25 micrograms. This toxic air pollution is not just a statistic. It represents a major public health crisis, contributing to thousands of premature deaths each year and significantly shortening life expectancy. But the environmental challenges in Pakistan don't end with air pollution. Water contamination is widespread across the country, with rivers, streams, and underground water sources tainted by industrial waste, sewage, and agricultural runoff. This widespread pollution is directly linked to the rise of waterborne diseases that affect millions of people annually. The combination of hazardous air and water quality is making daily life increasingly dangerous for many citizens. This situation in Pakistan highlights the urgent need for stronger environmental regulations and sustainable solutions. If action isn't taken swiftly, the health and well-being of millions will continue to be at risk, and the country's environmental decline could reach irreversible levels. How can we come together to support Pakistan in tackling these pressing environmental issues? It's clear that the path forward lies in immediate, collective action to safeguard both the health of the population and the future of the environment. Indonesia, renowned for its stunning landscapes and rich biodiversity, is also one of the world's leading contributors to greenhouse gas emissions. A significant driver of this environmental crisis is the widespread deforestation driven by palm oil production and illegal logging. In 2024, Indonesia was responsible for around 8% of global deforestation, marking it as a key player in the ongoing climate emergency. The destruction of its tropical forests not only releases vast amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, but also decimates vital habitats for countless species of wildlife. But deforestation is not Indonesia's only environmental challenge. The country is also grappling with severe air and water pollution, particularly in bustling urban centers like Jakarta, where the air quality reaches hazardous levels during what's known as the air apocalypse. This phenomenon is largely caused by the widespread burning of forests and the operation of coal-powered plants. Water pollution adds another layer of urgency, with rivers like the Citarum ranking among the most polluted globally due to industrial waste, sewage, and plastic debris. Alarmingly, 28% of Indonesia's population still lacks access to safe drinking water, leading to widespread health issues. One of the most visible and damaging environmental crises in Indonesia is the annual haze disaster, which not only affects the country, but also spills over into neighboring nations such as Malaysia and Singapore. This haze is the direct result of forest burning for agricultural purposes, highlighting the critical need for sustainable practices and stronger regulatory measures. Indonesia's environmental challenges are deeply interconnected, demanding swift, sustained efforts to protect its natural resources and the health of its citizens. Without substantial reforms, the country risks further environmental decline, with potential global consequences. How can Indonesia implement lasting solutions to these environmental crises? The need for comprehensive and consistent actions is urgent, not just for the nation's survival, but for the well-being of the entire planet. Egypt, the seventh largest country in the world, is renowned for its ancient history and cultural heritage, yet it is currently facing an environmental crisis of alarming proportions. The capital city, Cairo, has one of the worst air quality levels in the world, with fine particulate matter consistently exceeding the World Health Organization's recommended thresholds by up to 5 times. This dangerous pollution is directly linked to a rise in respiratory illnesses and is responsible for a significant number of premature deaths each year. In fact, 2024 data reveals that air pollution in Cairo alone is responsible for over 20,000 deaths annually. However, the environmental challenges in Egypt extend beyond just the air. The Nile River, a lifeline for millions of Egyptians, is heavily contaminated with industrial waste, sewage, and agricultural runoff. This pollution not only threatens the environment, but also endangers public health for the many people who rely on the Nile for drinking water, irrigation, and fishing. The United Nations has even recognized the Nile as one of the most polluted rivers globally, with over 90 million Egyptians depending on it for survival. These environmental issues underscore the urgent need for Egypt to enforce stricter regulations and adopt sustainable practices. Without immediate and effective action, the pollution crisis could lead to severe, long-lasting consequences, not just for public health, but for the country's future. What steps can Egypt take to reverse this downward spiral? The time to act is now, and the future of millions depends on the ability to address these pressing environmental issues. Iraq, a nation with a rich cultural history and abundant natural resources, is currently facing severe environmental challenges, particularly concerning air and water pollution. The air quality in Iraq is among the worst in the world, posing significant health risks to its population. The country's heavy reliance on the petroleum industry, combined with the combustion of non-renewable resources and the burning of gas at oil sites, has led to dangerously high levels of harmful pollutants in the air. As of 2024, Iraq is frequently ranked as one of the countries with the highest air pollution levels globally, contributing to a sharp rise in respiratory diseases and other health issues. In addition to air contamination, Iraq faces a growing water crisis. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers, which are essential for both agricultural and drinking water supplies, have become severely polluted. Industrial waste, untreated sewage, and agricultural runoff have heavily tainted these vital waterways, making them hazardous to millions of Iraqi citizens. According to the United Nations, Nearly 70% of Iraq's untreated sewage is discharged directly into these rivers, creating a serious public health threat and endangering food security. These environmental crises highlight the urgent need for Iraq to implement stronger environmental protections and adopt more sustainable practices. Without immediate action, the health of its population and the future prosperity of the nation are at serious risk. What measures do you think Iraq could take to address these critical issues? It's clear that a sustainable approach is essential, and every voice matters in the fight against pollution. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, Africa's 9th largest country, faces significant environmental challenges that directly impact the daily lives of its inhabitants. One of the most pressing issues is air quality, which is extremely poor, largely due to the widespread use of firewood and charcoal for cooking. In 2024, data revealed that over 85% of households in the DRC rely on these traditional fuels, leading to dangerously high levels of indoor air pollution. This exposure is especially harmful to women and children, who are often near cooking fires for extended periods, resulting in a high incidence of respiratory illnesses. Deforestation is another major concern for the DRC. Vast areas of the Congo rainforest are being cleared to make way for farming and to meet the growing demand for charcoal. This deforestation not only destroys vital habitats, but also diminishes biodiversity. The situation is further exacerbated by illegal mining activities, which pollute rivers and soil with toxic substances such as mercury. Local communities near mining sites have reported a significant decline in fish populations, which are crucial for their food security. These environmental crises in the DRC highlight the urgent need for sustainable development practices. Without immediate and effective action, the country's natural resources could be depleted, leading to irreversible environmental degradation that would impact the livelihoods of millions. How can the DRC balance development with the preservation of its natural resources? It's critical that sustainable solutions are implemented to safeguard the country's future and the well-being of its people. China, ranked 10th globally for pollution, continues to battle high pollution levels despite ongoing efforts to mitigate the crisis. The country faces severe air, water, and soil pollution due to its industrial dominance and heavy reliance on coal power. As of 2024, China remains one of the most polluted nations on Earth, being the largest emitter of carbon dioxide worldwide, responsible for nearly 30% of global CO2 emissions. This not only degrades air quality, but also exacerbates global climate change. In major cities like Beijing and Shanghai, air pollution often reaches hazardous levels, with particulate matter concentrations far exceeding the World Health Organization's guidelines. This pollution has resulted in millions of premature deaths from respiratory and cardiovascular diseases. While initiatives such as the promotion of electric vehicles and stricter emissions regulations have been introduced, China's vast industrial production continues to outpace these efforts. Water and soil contamination further complicate the environmental crisis. Iconic rivers like the Yangtze and Yellow Rivers are severely polluted by industrial waste and agricultural runoff, posing substantial health risks to the population. In rural areas, soil pollution from heavy metals has rendered farmland unfit for cultivation, threatening food security. China's environmental challenges underscore the difficult balance between rapid economic growth and sustainable development. Without more decisive measures, the pollution problem will persist, harming both the environment and the health of its people. Bangladesh, particularly its bustling capital, Dhaka, is grappling with some of the highest air pollution levels in the world. The thick haze that envelops the city is primarily caused by vehicle emissions, relentless industrial activity, and the widespread use of biomass fuels for cooking and heating. In 2024, data shows that Dhaka's air quality index consistently reaches hazardous levels, posing a serious threat to the health and well-being of its residents. The impact of this pollution is felt daily, with respiratory illnesses on the rise and the city's overall quality of life deteriorating. If this issue resonates with you, We invite you to engage with us by liking, commenting, and subscribing to our channel. Join us as we explore more documentaries that highlight pressing global challenges. Together, we can raise awareness and push for meaningful change to help those who need it most. Thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.